What is going on, guys? Back with another League of Legends guide, this time Xayah. In my personal opinion, Xayah is the best ADC right now, mainly because she's really safe with her ultimate and she can deal out loads of damage because of her triple crit build, and she has CC in her kit, and the CC is also AoE. So we're going to be looking at how to play her and how you guys can get some freelo with her in the bot lane. Xayah's passive is Clean Cuts, where her abilities give her 3 empowered auto attacks, where she throws out feathers for 900 range. These auto attacks deal normal amount of damage and then 50% to the next target, but she can only store 5 of these at once, so that's something to keep in mind. Her Q is pretty simple. It's just a skill shot where she throws out 2 feathers. The first one deals full damage and the second one deals 50%. Okay, so Xayah's W is Deadly Plumage. She gets extra attack speed for 4 seconds ranging from 30 to 50% and an extra 20% on her auto attacks. Also, if she auto attacks a champion, she gets an extra 30% movement speed. Something to keep in mind is that Rakan also gets these bonuses when you press W near him. Xayah's E is Blade Caller, where she calls back all the feathers that you have out towards her, and if 3 feathers pass through an enemy, it will snare them in place. Something to note about this is that there are diminishing returns though, so for each feather that hits the same enemy, it will deal less damage than the one that hit the same enemy by 10% for each feather. And lastly, Xayah's ultimate is Feather Storm, where she leaps into the air, becoming untargetable for 1.5 seconds. Whilst she's doing this, she is able to move around and then she'll leave down 5 feathers in a line. You can call these back, as well as you can flash whilst you're in mid-ultimate, and there are a few tricks that you can do regarding your ultimate and flash and your E and flash that I'll show you a little bit later on in the video, so keep an eye out for that. And now we're going to start teaching you how to play Xayah in-game. Okay, so now I'm going to take some time to talk about Xayah's runes. In my opinion, she can take any of the 3 major keystones from Precision, but my 2 favourite ones on her are Lethal Tempo and Fleet Footwork. Now, the first page we're going to be looking at is Lethal Tempo with Overheal, Legend Alacrity, and Cut Down from the primary tree, and then Celerity and Gathering Storm. This is mainly to do with mid and late game team fighting. Lethal Tempo is pretty easy to prop because you can Q, deal damage like to anyone, and then you'll have the attack speed by the time the fight starts. But it's just getting out loads of feathers really quickly, and it synergizes really well with your W. And then Cut Down if they've got a lot of tanks, a lot of people in Champ Select that you see are going to be stacking health. If not, then you can take Coup de Grace, that's also really good. And then the second page is a more standard page, one you've been seeing for a while now on ADCs. You take Fleet Footwork instead of Lethal Tempo, and the Lifesteal Mastery instead of Legend Alacrity, Bloodline. And this is more to do with, if you're against a hard lane, say Caitlyn Brand, this is probably the rune page you want to be taking. You're going to have less damage, but the Fleet Footwork is going to keep you healthier, you're going to miss less CLs, you're going to get poked out of lane less. You know, so I feel like this one is for hard matchups. That's how I go about using it anyway. And then Xayah's build is Essence Reaver into, normally I go Rapid Fire Cannon, Infinity Edge. You either choose Berserker's Greaves or Ninja Tabi if they have like 3 auto attackers, 3 AD champions. I normally go Tabi because you get so much worth out of it. And then you can either go 4 crit items, so a Shiv, or if they've got a tank or 2 tanks that are stacking armor, you want to go Lord Dominic's, and you want to get some lifesteal, maybe a Bloodthirster. If they've got CC like a Sigil, then you want to go Merc Scimitar instead. There's also GA if they've got a few assassins, but it's pretty standard build when it comes to triple crit and then choosing where to go from there. It's pretty standard on ADC at this point. The only difference is that you can choose to go quad crit, so getting a Shiv instead of a Lord Dominic's Regards, for example. Something that I haven't spoken about yet is her ability skill order. So you want to start Q unless you've got a Rakan, which then you start W, and then after you've taken your first skill, always take E. So no matter if you've got Rakan or not Rakan, you start Q or W, and then you always skill E, and then you skill the other one, so you've got 1 point in every ability, and you max E, and then W, and then ultimate, and then Q. So Xayah in lane isn't actually all that bad. She has got 525 range, which means she is innately going to suffer versus poke. However, she does have really good wave clear and can even go up against champions like Caitlyn when it comes to how quickly she can shove a wave. However, when she really starts to get good is when she gets her Essence Reaver, because before you have Essence Reaver, you can't really pressure and shove too much because mana costs, you know, to Q, auto attack 3 times an E, which will probably clear the whole wave, if not leave them very low. Costs 100 mana or 90 mana, I think. And if you want to do that every wave just to create pressure, then you're going to need Essence Reaver. But in the early game, what you really want to be doing is looking for snares on your opponent. So you want to try and Q where they've been standing and then auto attack through minions. This means that like you'll have 3 feathers out in the same place, and if they stand on them, then you can E, and then your support might be able to take advantage of it. If you've got a brand support, for example, it lets him set up like a W and then maybe even a Q. Just you want to be fishing for snares and just trying to trade like that, really. As for early game skirmishes, it's pretty much the same. You're looking at being around level 9 for early game skirmishes, probably for like first dragon maybe, if the game kind of accelerates and someone tries to make a dragon play quite early on. Then you want to be trying to get out feathers whilst kiting back, and then once you get 5 to 6 feathers out, you want to be pressing E and trying to hit as many people as possible, trying to set it up so you hit a few people, because it can really turn a team fight or a skirmish in the early game, and people don't expect it because you're an ADC, but this CC is pretty deadly and it can completely turn a team fight. Don't forget that you'll also have your ultimate, so you can dodge a piece of CC that would normally get you into a bit of trouble, and then you've got 5 feathers out just like that, and then you can auto attack a few times, press E. Your E cooldown is relatively low, so you should be able to get 2 out, maybe 1 at the beginning of the fight, 1 at the end of the fight. So you want to be trying to use it relatively early on, trying to hit a few people so that you can use it again to like finish off the fight. Okay, now you're getting in the mid game, you've got your Essence Reaver, you've got your Rapid Fire Cannon, you've got your boots, and you're starting to do a lot of damage. Xayah is really good in the mid game. She now has the attack speed to back up her E and cooldown reduction, because you've got 30% cooldown reduction and maxed your E. You've got 5.8 second cooldown on your E, so you're able to use that to really start to turn skirmishes and decide the outcome of a fight just by you have that power now. So what you want to be doing is trying to just set up feathers from hitting the front line. You don't want to be doing anything too risky unless you are very far ahead, and then kite back a bit and press E and hit your feathers on a load of people, so call them back, get the snare, and just really dictate a fight like that. There are also a few things you can do where it comes to pressing E and then flashing, and your feathers will follow you, so you can kind of change the direction of the feathers. That's a good trick. And another one is, as I said earlier, you can flash whilst you're in your ult animation. So you can start up your ult, flash forwards, get the feathers on 1 or 2 people, and then maybe 1 auto with your Rapid Fire Cannon, and then press E, and you'll get the double snare, and you've got your empowered auto attacks. You can press Q as you're auto attacking as well, and you're just going to be dealing loads and loads of damage. You have quite a lot of playmaking ability, as well as being really safe on this champion. Okay, so in the late game, Xayah is a low range hyper carry. She has her triple crit, she's got Last Whisper or some lifesteal, you know, she's starting to deal a stupid amount of damage. The same really goes for the mid game though, where because you're low range, you can only really hit the front line. You don't really want to be risking kind of balls to the wall, running past people and trying to get on the back line. You just want to hit what's in front, kite back still, and then press E, deal a load of damage with that, with all the feathers out, try and spread them out a little bit, and yeah, just try and hit a massive E. The W is going to be dealing loads of damage. Remember that it does empower your auto attacks, and it lets you kite, and obviously gives you attack speed and lets you get your feathers out, but mainly it's the extra attack speed and attack damage that's going to be letting you deal a lot of damage to the tank, because even a Jinx in Rockets doesn't deal 20% extra on her auto attacks, it's only 10, so she's going to be dealing loads of damage on her auto attacks, and that's really what makes her such a good hyper carry. In those 4 seconds that you've got of your W, you really want to be making the most of it, and then just pressing E, dealing a load of damage. But that's pretty much it for this guide. Like, as I say, it's pretty simple. She's just a really good champion when it comes to kiting back. She's not too great going forwards. Just remember as well that you can press Q, auto attack, and as your Qs are still flying out, you press E and it kind of cues it, and you will get the snare off. It's a weird interaction, but that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me down below what you think I missed out, if I'd missed anything out, or what you enjoyed about it, and let me know what champions you want me to do next, as I'm open to suggestions. I'm going to be doing a jungler soon, and an AD carry guide just in general, so like how to play AD carry. But as I said before, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.